Welcome back to Arise News Hour. I'm Charles Aniagolu. Now we turn to Nigeria, where police in the northeastern city of Maiduguri have confirmed that they believe Boko Haram were behind Sunday's multiple suicide bombings in the city centre. No organisation has taken responsibility just yet, though. 16 people were killed and 18 others injured, according to the authorities. And there were 3 separate suicide blasts carried out by 2 women and a man. Their identities have not yet been disclosed. But the attacks took place in a region of Nigeria, there in Borno State, that has long had to deal with the presence and threat of Boko Haram militants. Well, for more on this, I'm joined now in the studio by the Nigerian security analyst Temitope Olodo. First of all, explain to us more about the basic details of this attack. Do we know whether Boko Haram have now claimed responsibility for that attack? Because last we heard, nobody had.
Yeah, nobody has claimed that responsibility for it, but it falls within the premise of Boko Haram's activities, which has been going on, for the past 1 year. And as you well know, the global peace index placed Nigeria at 149 of 163, and the terrorism index placed Nigeria as the third most dangerous terrorist country. So I'm not surprised that this is happening, because some of the initiatives that should be put in place are not in place. And this is just déjà vu.
It's important to put this in perspective, though, when you say one of the most dangerous places. Because I've just returned from Nigeria.
Yes.
I've been there several times, and it's limited to a particular region.
Oh, no, it's just that region. It's just that region, that pocket of area. And that's the reason why, most analysts will have expected the government to have been able to put in the containment strategy to ensure that these people are boxed in and contained. The fact is that the more you go after them, the more you detain people, the more you put in this practical initiative. If you don't have the community-driven strategy to back it up, what you have is just this group coming up and coming up. Most people felt that Boko Haram would have been completely destroyed by now, at least minimized to the barest minimum, when the government claimed the fact that they have technically defeated Boko Haram. But then they came back and attacked oil installation, people that were going out for oil installation, attacked the military barracks, attacked IDP camps, which are well protected. People like myself have been to the IDP camp, and I've been to Borno, and I've seen that they were relatively peace environment.
So based on what you're saying now, how prevalent are these types of attacks still in the northeast of Nigeria, considering the actions that the government and the military have taken against the militants there?
A lot is happening, and I think an organization does not just get on the World Terrorism Index just for the sake of it. It's because that organization is dangerous, and when you're dealing with dangerous organization, you need to put everything in place.
So based on what you're saying now, then, help us paint a picture of what life is like in Maiduguri following this and other recent incidents. Are people still very afraid of Boko Haram, or have they become inured to it and perhaps more defiant in the face of the threat they pose? I
think it's double sword. I think the good thing about the environment or the culture in that area means that people just accept, their fate, and they're moving on and striving. And that's what Nigerians are like. They move on even regardless of the adversity, regardless of the fact that they're not getting their salary paid, regardless of the fact that infrastructures are not completely there, but people just keep pushing.
Very resilient people.
Yeah, very resilient people.
Is there a difference, though, between the way people in the cities in the northeast feel compared with those in the villages, for instance? Because I understand that people, for instance, feel more secure and better protected in the urban areas compared with the rural areas.
Definitely, because there are more military presence, more security infrastructures in place, more protection, more what you call rapid response to incidents within the city compared to the rural areas. And we know of recent, just a few weeks ago, that Boko Haram killed about 6 individuals, because they said they were being hardened and not ready to work with them. So in the rural areas, they're still a bit worried. Coupled with the fact that there is the Operation Safe Corridors for some of the Boko Haram members who are known to these individuals, and people are worried that these same people that have killed them, are now being taken on board, and we still don't have any success story from Boko Haram members that have been deconstructed, to show others, to say this is one Boko Haram member that had gone through this process. Nothing like that. We don't have that compared to like the prevent strategy that we have in the UK. So it's those kind of very little processes that are lacking. Government is working. There's no doubt. The military are working. There is no doubt. It's just that they need to just put everything in order.
So Maiduguri, of course, the epicenter of the Boko Haram insurgency. Does the city function as a normal city despite these attacks? I mean, do people have an everyday life, the economy and business functioning there?
It is functioning because a colleague of mine that we work together within our security forum living here in London decided to relocate back to Maiduguri to start a medical center with her parents and put something together. Now, if it's not that safe, she won't have gone there. And I was there myself. I stayed there for 3-4 days. So it is safe relatively. It's just that, I think the challenge we have is the challenge with weak government and weak institution. So it's about putting things in place and working through those things and making sure they're in place. That is the challenge that Nigeria needs to work on, and that's where Nigerian partners need to help them work on, to be able to contain their successes, because that is where they are lacking. They get something done effectively, and then more of suddenly everything rolls back.
Very interesting analysis. Temitope Olodo, the Nigerian security analyst, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.